It is a tragedy of mammoth proportion. I mean, even last night when we were in the midst of heading to meetings and final discussions as we were getting ready to go to votes, we started hearing sirens and we saw police cars rushing. Had no idea what was going on, and would later learn in the midst of that about this incredible tragedy. These two young people who absolutely just were phenomenal individuals from everything we've learned of them today, and just the senselessness of it. And it reminds us again that this whole pro-Hamas activist, this rhetoric, it has no place in the United States of America. And we've got to stand up. The whole anti-Semitism that we're seeing on our college campuses, we're looking at different ways. I know from the Education and Workforce Committee, we've been holding hearings on this. It's something we've got to deal with, and kudos to the Trump administration for taking the steps they've already taken in response there at Harvard tonight.
I want to get to those steps, but real quick, your thoughts on some of your Democrat colleagues. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who's said and done all kinds of despicable things in recent years. This morning, reporters are asking her, can you believe this senselessness that we're talking about? Will you denounce this violence? And she kept walking and said she would not denounce it.
Well, that speaks for itself. I mean, I think everyone recognizes the ridiculousness of leaders that are not willing to step up and condemn such as what we've just seen. I mean, yesterday I had attended the Jewish American Heritage Congressional Breakfast there on Capitol Hill yesterday morning. And my heart just sank last night because I was thinking, did I meet either of these young people yesterday morning when I was attending that breakfast? And again, we've got to call it out. We've got to be willing to expose it for what it is. And we've got to be willing to say it will not be tolerated.
You know, Judge Pirro, formerly of Fox News, now the acting U.S. attorney there in Washington, said the death penalty is on the table. You believe Absolutely. That may be warranted?
I definitely believe that should be warranted. And I can't imagine a better bulldog to be taking this case than Judge Pirro.
Yep, I know her well, and I agree with you. Real quick on those steps. What do you think about, I mean, Harvard University has already had federal money stripped out like Columbia University, but the idea, Harvard tonight is saying this is an illegal move by the Trump administration to end their foreign students coming over. Don't we have to get a handle on who's really on these campuses?
We do have to get a handle on it. And one of the things that we were looking for just in the last week to 10 days when we had a hearing there, Education and Workforce, was looking at college campuses that necessarily weren't part of this elite that we looked at, the Ivy Leagues, but we looked at several other colleges and brought college presidents in. And we're asking them about how they handled the different situations that arose on their campus, from the sit-ins, from the people that were willing to set up camp right there on their campus. And it was amazing. We had some that were not even willing to give us statistics about what actually was done to the students. And when they were punished, we had others that said, we learned from that experience and we're trying to put some things in place. That was somewhat encouraging. But again, we've got to call them into account. They don't mind taking government money. And when they do, we've got to make sure that accountability is part of the picture.
There you go. Obviously, the big, beautiful bill we've talked about seems a little less important tonight with this tragedy, but the nation's business obviously goes forward. They've got lifting of the nation's debt ceiling included in there. There's a lot that needs to be dealt with in the days ahead on the tax and spending side. The president put up a Truth Social today saying this is going to be the most significant piece of legislation maybe in history, the largest ever tax cut. There's no tax on tips, as well as no tax on overtime. I think a lot of working people in your state of North Carolina and elsewhere are probably going to like that. But there are going to be also some of your constituents you may have heard of who are not happy about the spending in here, sir. And we're expecting that you and other Republicans elected with Donald Trump as part of his reelection, if you will, and your reelection of the House, that you were going to tame this deficit. How do you balance that, sir?
Well, we are determined to tame this deficit. And the president early in this administration said again that he wants to get to a balanced budget. We all agree on that, and we are going to get there. I think that was the reason we saw the drama playing out over the last week. And the questions, are we going to get there? Are we going to get there? This bill manages to do what we set out to do. There are many of us, like me, that would like to have seen more on the spending cut side, but we also recognize we had to extend or make permanent the Trump tax cuts. We could not see the American people of all brackets experiencing a major tax increase that was going to come. And then when you extend that, and then we were able to do these other tax cuts in the process of it, no taxes on tips, as well as taking for that credit for seniors on Social Security. That's going to be very important. No taxes on overtime pay as well. That's going to be very important for those that are working day in and day out to make a living. But we are going to have to reform some other areas as we go forward. And there were some other things. We brought back some of the spending things. We set out with a goal of $1.5 trillion in spending cuts in the process. We were able to achieve that. This is historic. I mean, Congress doesn't do that. Congress doesn't cut spending. And this is historic in that proportion.
Got to start somewhere. Yeah.
We've got to start somewhere.
So last thing, I'm out of time. I don't mean to interrupt, but in less than 30 seconds, you mentioned that there will be no, like a deduction, a super deduction for seniors. But I want to clarify. So originally it was no tax on Social Security benefits. That did not make it, to be clear. But seniors will get, we're told, I think it's a $4,000 deduction on top of the standard or itemized deduction. Is that right?
That's the way I understand it at this point. And of course, as you said, we recognize that this bill has gotten through. Very grateful that we got there this morning or very early after an all-nighter. And it now is going to go to the Senate. They're going to do what they want to. And then it's going to come back to the House and we'll have another shot at it. But I really believe that we're going to see it happen.